In this video, Gary Huang shares 7 insights he learned from interviewing more than 20 7- and 8-figure sellers. The tips include how to overcome different challenges with Amazon inventory restrictions, increased shipping prices, and logistics problems. If you want to learn more about selling on Amazon in 2021, check out the link below to sign up for the 7-Figure Seller Summit, which is hosted by Gary. This video is hosted by Lisette Lees, who works with different Amazon brands. And finally, make sure that you hit the like button below this video if you find any information you hear useful and interesting.
Hi Gary, I'm very happy that you are joining me today here to talk about the latest tips big Amazon sellers are using to be successful. So you have a big event coming up for all Amazon sellers. So can you introduce yourself and tell us what is this event about?
Absolutely. And thank you, Lisette, for having me on. It's a pleasure to always be on, and I appreciate your support. So my name is Gary Huang, and I'm the host and the founder of the 7-Figure Seller Summit. And our goal is to really help Amazon sellers build, scale, and exit their businesses. So we're having an online summit August 16th through the 20th. And I thought today it would be good to give a recap of the top 7 takeaways I learned after interviewing over 25 7-figure sellers and e-commerce experts.
Okay, sounds really interesting. So before we start you sharing with the tips, I wanted to ask, what do you think, what have been the most difficult parts of the past year for Amazon sellers? And also, have there been any kind of like win situation for Amazon sellers regarding the changes that have been going on in e-commerce or in Amazon?
Yes, well, 2021, I feel like, we're about to enter Q4, which is winning time. It's probably the busiest time of year for online shopping, especially for Amazon. Many businesses get over 50% of their revenue in just the last couple months of the year. So it can be a huge opportunity after COVID. We're still trying to figure out how we're going to get out of this, but no matter what the pandemic is going to do, e-commerce is kind of like the silver lining. COVID has really been a shot in the arm in terms of Amazon. Amazon can't even keep up with the demand. That's why they've imposed some restrictions. So on the flip side, there's a lot of risks that we're seeing, as a lot of the audience probably knows. I'm calling this like a perfect storm, because there's all these new logistics challenges, and then the increased shipping prices, additional delays from factories. Many of them are still dealing with COVID. Even in China, I just spoke with an 8-figure seller today. Some factories are getting shut down. And also with the Amazon inventory restrictions, we have to be kind of like this speedboat, how to navigate around these risks so that we can really win in Q4. So I think that's what I'm seeing right now. And that's why I invited these 7-figure sellers, these 8-figure sellers, e-commerce experts, to share the strategies that they're using right now so that they can win, both what's working and also some of their mistakes for learning. I think that will be very valuable for our sellers as well.
It has definitely been a very interesting year past us, and definitely the next year, or the year we're now in Q4 soon, will be as same interesting. So we are ready to hear what you have learned. I know last time people really enjoyed the tips you were sharing before the last event. So the stage is yours.
Absolutely. Well, first off, a lot has changed in just the last 6 months, right? We're dealing with all of these new struggles, these new problems. And I find the number one takeaway that I got is that successful entrepreneurs, they're very agile. So they're almost like speedboats navigating through these choppy waters. They're not like the Titanic, like a big corporation. It's very hard for them to change their freight company. It's very hard for them to pivot. So one of the examples that I like to share when faced with these logistics challenges, the high shipping rates, Amazon inventory restrictions, is an 8-figure Amazon seller, Cameron Walker, that I spoke with. He really revamped his entire business. He shared he's in the toy category. They generate over $10 million sales on Amazon because of the high shipping rates. They changed freight forwarders. Like they used the same one for many years, but just the past 6 months, they had to change with the inventory restrictions. They're changing even their 3PL that they're working with because the previous one couldn't deal with it. And then they're also dealing with Chinese factories. One of the factories, the component supplier for their toys in Jiangsu province, just today, I had a chat with him. He said that they were hit with COVID. So China's not out of this mess either with the Delta strain. So that's causing a delay in his delivery. So he's literally like a little speedboat, pivoting. And it's almost like whoever can make these quick pivots the fastest is the one that survives and the one that thrives to win in Q4. So successful entrepreneurs are very agile, like speedboats. And these sellers, they're coming up with creative solutions, they said. So, a lot of people feel like, pricing, right? We got to have a low price, we got to compete. But one of the 7-figure sellers I spoke with she thought differently. And Sharon Evan is a 7-figure seller based in Israel. And she's actually teaching how to create higher priced products, not lower priced products. So why do that? So actually, the beauty of this is that it helps solve a lot of your logistics problems, because even though you're pricing higher, you're selling less units, but you're making more profit. Okay. So one of the examples she used in her case study is that a client of hers that she's helping with their Amazon business, they're selling a knife. Okay. So they're selling basically the same knife as everybody else. So all the competitors are selling the same knife for $20, but she was able to help implement branding and then bundling a $2 additional product to solve the customer's problem. And they were able to sell it for $80. Think about it. Everyone else is selling $20. It's the same knife. It's $2 bundle branding, and she's solving the problem, selling for $80. So they're making $43 profit per sale. Okay, so that means that the seller can sell fewer units to make more profit. So some of the competitors, they have to sell like 20,000 units a year. Think about the number of containers that is. Think about, right now with the shipping prices, it's like, from $1,300 per container before COVID in 2019, now it's up to $20,000 per container. It's insane, right? So her client only needs to buy about 2,000 units a year to make the same amount of money. Right. So they're able to solve a lot of these Amazon inventory restrictions and to reduce their shipping because they're making more per sale. So these are some examples, like these sellers are really pivoting quickly in order to be successful this year.
Okay, very good. Yeah, this definitely sounds good, because usually all the sellers who are especially just starting out kind of want to use the same strategies, but sometimes you have to go the other way around. So that's really interesting to hear.
Yeah. And that segues to our second point we said. That's don't put all your eggs in one basket, because that's very risky, right? I know a lot of new sellers are just, putting all their investment into one product. So in terms of the long-term vision, if the seller wants to build a sustainable business, especially if they want to consider an exit down the line. We're seeing a lot of action in the Amazon marketplace selling businesses, big aggregators like Thrasio, they bought over 100 businesses in the past year, and they're it's really hot right now. But at the same time, if you put all your eggs in one basket, for example, if you just have one hero product that's generating the lion's share of your sales, and a bunch of minions just like kind of trickling in a little bit of sales, that's not really diversified, right? So what if something happens to that? What if your supplier goes down due to COVID? What if they start jacking up the price? It's very risky. So rather than doing that, you really need to build a brand portfolio, like a product line of different products. So for example, I'll use a food analogy, like Kit Kat, for example. So one of the 8-figure sellers said that, they don't launch a lot of new products per se that's like totally different from their other products, but they launch like similar line extensions. So there's like the Kit Kat Classic, and then there's the Kit Kat coffee flavor, there's Kit Kat vanilla flavor, there's Kit Kat mint flavor, etc. Right? So, rather than doing that, they're still building out the brand portfolio. So they diversify some of the risk. And then this is very attractive if you want to exit someday, because you have a whole brand portfolio and buyers really like to see that. And then they'll pay more in terms of your business valuation. And not only that, don't put all your eggs in one basket in terms of sourcing. Okay. A lot of even successful big, 7-figure businesses, they rely on just one factory. Okay, it could be a factory in China. So what if the factory raises their prices? Raw material costs are really going up this year. If you don't have a backup supplier, how can you, cost compare, right? What if someone at this factory gets COVID and they get shut down for several weeks? We're seeing this happening right now. It's happened in India, it's happened in China, it's happening in Vietnam. You really need to diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Right. We're seeing some people are sourcing from India, for example, and one of our speakers, Meghala Bardwaj and Mark Jolly, they gave really 10 strategies how to source from India. So this way you can diversify. You can also differentiate, right? So I think that's another key tip. And also diversification in terms of marketplaces, right? I mean, Amazon obviously is the biggest third-party marketplace, but recently on the news, Walmart just overtook eBay to become number 2, the second biggest online marketplace. So we're seeing some more action selling on Walmart. Obviously, it's not going to replace Amazon anytime soon, but it does make sense to diversify. If what happens if you get your Amazon account shut down, at least have some insurance policy, right? So we're seeing that as well. So number 2 is don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's very risky.
Do you think, in your opinion, is Walmart more attractive to Amazon sellers than, for example, eBay has been? Or how do you feel how Amazon sellers are generally thinking about Walmart?
Yeah, I first started selling on eBay in 2005. That was the first platform I sold on. And eBay has really declined. eBay used to be number 1. eBay used to be like the Amazon of today back 15 years ago, but eBay really declined, like the quality, the platform, it's flooded with a lot of cheap products. So eBay is really declining. Walmart is on the way up. We're seeing a lot of interest because Walmart is partnering with Google, Google Shopping, for example. So when you do a Google search, the Walmart marketplace listings will show up higher than the Amazon listings. So that could be a potential because you can draw traffic not only from Walmart.com, but also from Google. They're also integrating with Shopify. So we see there's certain partnerships, certain advantages. So I do feel that it could be a good potential, but it's more a medium long-term play. Don't expect to get rich quick selling on Walmart like tomorrow.
Okay, that's a really good point.
Yes, excellent. Shall we move on to number 3?
Yeah, let's see what you have.
Yeah, so number 3 is in terms of finding product selection. I know this is a big challenge for many sellers, no matter if you're experienced or if you're new. We're seeing right now, you really have to think outside the box when it comes to finding your product selection, because what worked like 5 years ago in 2016 doesn't work today, right? Competition is so much higher. There's over 2 million sellers on Amazon right now. So if you're using the same research tool as everyone else, if you start out at the same place, you end up at the same place. What looks good right now, according to that tool, 3 months later, there could be hundreds of people selling the same thing, right? So we're seeing a lot of 7-figure sellers using a different approach. One of the examples is Jason Tay. He's a 7-figure seller. He's based in Australia. And then he uses a keyword-based approach. So in his training, he really used a live example of a keyword. I'm not going to give it away. You guys will have to catch the session to see the actual example he used. But he very quickly was able to find a product opportunity. And he doesn't use the traditional criteria. Like besides the keyword, he also uses a PPC-based approach. Okay, because Amazon is becoming more and more of a PPC important marketplace. And then he looks at different PPC options. For example, is there a sponsored brand ad that's relevant using this keyword search? If not, that's like a green light indicator. That could be a good sign up for this product. He also goes further down the page. He looks for sponsored brand video ads. Is there a relevant ad for this example? If not, that's another green light indicator. So we're seeing sellers really adapt their product selection right now in 2021. I think that's so important to differentiate yourself. Another seven-figure seller who has a different approach to really expand your niche is Amy Weiss. She's a seven-figure seller based in Texas, USA, and she uses a customer avatar-based approach. So in her training, she's going to show you a live example. It's almost like a workshop, so you can find products based on your customer avatar. It could be based on yourself, for example, your hobbies, your age, where you live, your marital status, to really come up with ideas based on the avatar rather than just using a tool. So we're seeing a lot of different ways to come up with products than before. And the third way that we saw was a data-based approach. So John Tilley from ZonGuru shares how he finds products using data, and especially with new marketplaces that are actually growing very quickly. Amazon Australia, we see, has tremendous growth. It's grown so fast just within the last couple of years. And it's almost like 2016 in Australia right now, because you're seeing a lot of the just not super niche opportunities, like general products. What we were selling back in 2016, it's still available in Australia. Obviously, the marketplace is not as big as the US, but it's growing very quickly. So these are all ways to find profitable product ideas and also markets, thinking outside the box differently here in 2021.
Yeah, looking into other marketplaces is definitely a good idea, because now we have more marketplaces than we have ever had, and sometimes it could be that it's not the best option to go to US first. For example, as you mentioned, in Australia, there's a much better chance to launch a product, and you don't have to niche down that much, and perhaps you don't have to spend that much money either. So that's really good one.
You're absolutely right. It could be less investment as well. So that's another key. So that leads us to point number 4. Okay, and this is PPC. So for Amazon, we're seeing PPC. It's to sell on Amazon. It's becoming a pay-to-play game. It's almost like going to Vegas and you have to buy in to sit down at the blackjack table or the poker table, right? You really have to invest in order to win, because Amazon, when everyone has seen on the top of page 1, the organic listing is getting pushed further and further down, right? For many of these search results, you have the sponsored brand ad, you have several sponsored product ads. Sometimes it's at the bottom corner, the second row, right? So if you're not investing in PPC, you're being left behind. So before we talk about PPC, actually, the first thing you need to do before you put money in PPC is to optimize your product listing on Amazon. So I invited Brian Johnson, and he's one of the PPC godfathers. I first followed him back, I think in 2016. He's one of the first people to really teach PPC best practices. But in his training, he really showed a live example how to optimize Amazon product listings to really stand out from the competition. And then he used a live example in the cake decorating category. It was amazing because every single product, it was like almost the cookie cutter, same thing, right? So he was able to really dissect the listing in terms of the images, in terms of the color, in terms of the title, in terms of the keywords, how to really grab your shopper's attention. And then this will help you stand out and increase your conversions, your conversion rate. So experienced Amazon sellers know that that's the key, right? A conversion rate, higher conversion rate means higher ranking. It also means more profitability, and it cuts your expenses, especially if you advertise, right? So that's the first step. You really, guys, you got to optimize your listing because competition is getting more and more fierce. So that's the first step for PPC success. The second step is really the 80-20 of PPC, how to get different ad types. There's almost like 40 different ad types right now. I'm losing count. So I invited another PPC expert, Ritu Java, to give you the 80-20 of the different PPC ad types. She's the co-founder of PPC Ninja. She also helps run an 8-figure Amazon business. So she's helped a lot of Amazon sellers, and she really broke down the different ad types, which ones are working well right now, so you can double down on them, and then which ones to avoid, which ones that may bleed money. So I think obviously each product category is different, but I think these general rules will help guide a lot of sellers in the right direction to really optimize their campaign and save money when it comes to that. So that's point number 4, PPC. It's becoming pay-to-play game on Amazon.
Okay, Ritu's presentation will definitely be exciting because I think she will cover also video ads, which is a super trendy topic right now because these ad types really convert really well. So all sellers should use them today if they are already not using them. So that's nice.
Yes. Ritu does talk about that. We're seeing a lot more click-through rates. So definitely, I encourage everyone to check out Ritu's session. All right. So that brings us to point number 5, and that's really the theme of one of the days of our summit, day 4. It's all about profitability. Okay, to keep more money in your pocket, and so the key takeaway is you should focus on the bottom line, not the top line. Okay, and this year especially, based on many of the 7 and 8 figure sellers I've spoken with, you have to kind of temper your expectations because of the higher shipping rate costs, because of the higher raw material costs, and the more 3PL fulfillment costs that you may have to incur to be able to stay in stock. It's going to affect your profitability. So you really have to know your numbers. And you may have to adjust your margin this year because many of the sellers, they haven't realized this yet. And some sellers may be even breaking even or even losing money, according to the 7-figure sellers I've spoken with. That's why we're not seeing a lot of inflation yet on Amazon, because sellers are still reacting to this. Okay, but remember the first rule: the quick pivoting businesses are the ones that will succeed. So I highly recommend, if you haven't already, check your numbers. Okay, check your bottom line. Make sure that your margin is still the same it was, because it's probably not with high shipping fees. Okay, especially sellers that are selling very bulky, heavy, and oversized products. Okay, these sellers unfortunately are really going to suffer from the ocean freight, because they have to one container fits fewer of these products, right? If you're shipping very small toys, maybe you can fit like 10,000 units. But if you're shipping Christmas trees, right? If you're shipping Christmas trees, maybe you only get a couple dozen. And we are actually hearing in the news that many of the Christmas tree orders were canceled ever since August because of the high shipping rate increase. There was another $4,000 general rate increase from many of the freight forwarders across the line. It's simply not affordable to ship them, so they canceled the orders. So I think that's a warning sign. You guys have to really pay attention to your bottom line. So what can you do, right? So I talked to a lot of sellers. Some of these sellers, they're optimizing their packaging. Okay, some of the retail ready type products, like some of the toys, some of like the games, it comes in like a big box, but the thing is so small, right? It's just taking up air. So these type of products, they're really going to suffer when it comes to shipping costs, when it comes to the Amazon storage restrictions, when it comes to the fulfillment fees. So really, you can optimize that, guys. Think about what you can do. Like, pay attention to the Amazon the size tiers, because if you can move to a lower tier, that's going to save you a lot of money, and then that's more money to your profitability, and you'll be able to compete more against your competitors. We're seeing a lot of 7-figure sellers really pay attention to the bottom line in terms of that, and then also in terms of logistics. Okay, this is key right now. One of the key takeaways is freight forwarders, you got to shop around. Okay, even if you're loyal to that freight forwarder for many years, right now you got to make a business decision. It's survival, right? So shop around, talk to different forwarders. Some sellers are finding that Amazon Global Logistics, Amazon's own freight forwarder, is the most competitive one for them. Obviously, Amazon will subsidize some of those costs because Amazon is a huge retailer, right? But definitely shop around. Other sellers are even using 3PLs in China, right? Think outside the box, right? It may be more affordable to take advantage of the Chinese, the lower storage rental fees, lower labor fees, and if you're able to consolidate those shipments coming out of China in a container with other Amazon shipments, you can save some money that way. So many different ways to do this, but ultimately you guys have to really pay attention to the profitability this year, because costs are increasing, and this will be survival for a lot of people.
So would you recommend sellers to go through their business structure and partnerships they have before entering to Q4 to be sure that everything is as good as possible for them, because you mentioned several times that sellers have been changing the partnership, for example, with the freight forwarder. For example, even if they have used their services for years for now.
Yeah, because the market prices are very volatile. They're changing every week. It's almost like the stock market, right? So if you're able to save some money, that translates directly to your bottom line. So you can use that for more PPC, for example, or more invest that in your next order, right? I think just protecting your cash flow, that's going to be critical because you don't want to stock out, right? So absolutely, and sellers should be really vigilant to be successful when it comes to that. All right, so let's keep going. So the next point is one of my favorite quotes by Peter Drucker. So whatever gets measured gets managed. Okay, whatever gets measured gets managed. So we're seeing it's becoming more important right now to have documentation, to have standard operating procedures. So you have to think about the big picture, the long term, guys. What happens if you get hit by lightning tomorrow, right? Do you have a team to keep the business going? If you don't, you got to start documenting. You got to start creating these SOPs, and ultimately, this way you can work on your business in your business. And this has another benefit because buyers, they like to see that, right? They don't want to see everything relying on just you, one person, right? They want to see that they're able to transfer these assets, to transfer the team, to transfer all the SOPs, the documentation, right? That makes it a lot easier and it builds confidence in potential buyers for your business. In addition, something else that is that a lot of people overlook, they're not measuring this, is slow moving inventory. Okay, I've been guilty of this. There are some products for a lot of Amazon sellers they have in the Amazon, sitting in the Amazon warehouses, gathering dust. They've been there for a long time. You're paying long-term storage fees, and it's kind of like a burden on you. I mean, definitely look at ways to get rid of that. One of our seven-figure sellers, Sophie Howard, she gave a training on best ways to liquidate these items, find ways to get rid of it, because not only are you getting some money back, you're helping your Amazon IPI index, the inventory performance index. So it's kind of like your credit scores. Everybody knows everyone has the restriction with Amazon. So by getting rid of that, it can help boost your index and help potentially unlock more storage that you can keep in your Amazon fulfillment centers. So definitely pay attention to that. Whatever gets measured gets managed. You gotta measure a lot of these details. Yeah, so the last tip deals with the end game. Okay, day 5 at Seven Figure Seller Summit is all about exits, structuring your business to sell it and to maximize that exit. All right. So a lot of you guys may be thinking, why should I sell my business? I'm getting, we're growing. It's good cash flow. Maybe it's a lifestyle business. It allows you to live the way you like. But I also would like to remind a lot of sellers, for most sellers, your biggest payday will be when you sell your business. For most buyers, most sellers, over 50% of their salary will be when they sell the business. Why is that? Because it will be worth a lot more than your monthly payment. In addition, it could be very risky to sustain your business, because we've seen it happen. Amazon accounts get shut down, they get suspended. Hijackers come, the market changes, new competitors come, right? And for many sellers, it's their biggest asset, right? Your business could be worth more than your car. It could even be worth more than your house, right? So if you're able to consider cashing out, getting that lump sum, that's like life-changing money, right? And it's not the end. Many of the seven-figure sellers we're struggling with, after they exited their first brand, they may have a non-compete. They can't compete in the same niche, but they can still start brand 2.0 when they're ready. So it's not the end of the world. But with that money in the bank, it really helps with your lifestyle, your retirement. It just puts you more at ease. Okay, so that's why it's so important to consider selling your business. And right now, Amazon businesses are very hot. One of our sponsors is Thrasio, and they're acquiring a lot of businesses. And I think one of the takeaways that they shared that you can get a free valuation of your business if you're not sure. I mean, there's no commitment at Seven Figure Seller Summit. They have an offer where sellers can just get a free consultation, like a phone call with them to find out more about their business. Maybe you'll be surprised. Maybe it's worth more than you thought, or maybe it's worth less. If it's worth less, hey, that's a good wake-up call. Maybe you gotta change things, right? So I think that's something sellers should keep in mind, especially this year. And I feel that, I've spoken with many sellers, I've spoken with some experts. And one of the things that surprised me is when I spoke with CJ Rosenbaum. He runs Amazon Seller Lawyer. They're a law firm that helps Amazon sellers. Right now, he's helping them with exits as well. He said one of the biggest mistakes is waiting too long. Okay, waiting too long to sell your business. Why? Because your life changes. Maybe you have a life-changing event. He's seeing a lot of sellers, they're starting to take their foot off the gas. They're not creating a lot of new products. They're not launching a lot of new products. If you coast like that, that's going to hurt your valuation, because the buyers, they want to see the trailing 12-month sales history. They want to see an upward trajectory, right? They want to see it growing. They don't want to see it stagnant or declining, right? So I think that's one of the mistakes that we're seeing right now. A lot of sellers are waiting too long. But on the other hand, we had a really inspiring success story from an 8-figure seller, Josh Dietrich. He started his Amazon business a few years ago as a side hustle, and he was able to create 2 brands and sell them for over 8 figures, over $10 million. So he created an Amazon private label brand, and he created a Shopify store. And that was a very inspiring story, and also valuable story. I think it will help a lot of sellers, because he's actually done it, and he shared what worked and also some of the mistakes he overcame along the way. So, that would be the point number 7 that I like to share. Selling a business, don't wait too long, and definitely consider it, even if you're not going to sell it today. Keep in mind, it makes sense to plan ahead.
Thank you so much for sharing these very interesting insights you have learned from interviewing the experts. So Gary, can you once more explain how does this event work? For how many days people are able to enjoy the good content, and overall, what are the main topics you will cover during this?
So 7-Figure Seller Summit was voted the favorite Amazon event of 2020 last year in Seller Poll. We had over 3,500 sellers attend from all over the world. This year, we're timing it right before World Entrepreneurship Day, August 21st. So it's a 5-day event. It's going to run online from August 16th through the 20th. We have over 25 speakers. So each day we have a different theme. So it's almost like the natural growth and progression of Amazon e-commerce business. Day 1 is all about the mindset, the fundamentals of a 7-figure business. Day 2 is all about marketing, branding, PPC. Day 3 is about scaling your business. Day 4 is about profitability, how to keep more money in your pocket. And Day 5 is about exits. So I like to invite everyone. This was just the tip of the iceberg. My personal learnings, everybody is different, right? So I'd like to invite you to get a free pass at 7figuresellersummit.com. I believe Lisette and the team will link that up in the show notes. And this way, you can view the sessions once they go live for 24 hours for free. So that way you can catch them. If you want, we also have an all access pass where you unlock all the sessions, you get lifetime access, you get all the videos, and you also get bonus audio. So you can listen to them on the run, you get transcripts, and you get additional bonuses from our speakers. For example, some of the speakers are offering one-on-one coaching calls or one-on-one consultations. You can, companies like Petita, they're offering $500 in free Amazon reimbursements. It's a no-brainer if you're considering to invest. But yeah, that's basically how it works. And I really built this to scratch my own itch, because I know a lot of people, even though some places have opened, they still can't travel, right? But at the same time, e-commerce is changing so fast. And, in order to stay ahead, you really have to listen to the right people. So I spent like hundreds of hours on developing all of the content, what I've listened to our audience, what people want to create it. So I hope it will be valuable for you guys. And yeah, so that's 7-Figure Seller Summit, and Lisette and the team will link it up in the show notes to hook everybody up with a free pass.
Yes, definitely. You get the link from the description. I'm eager to wait until the event starts so I can join the sessions as well. So I encourage everybody to watch them as well. So thank you so much, Gary, for coming here today. And we wish good luck to your business.
Sorry, one other thing I forgot to mention, guys. At the end of every day, thank you. At the end of every day, we have a live recap Q&A session. Okay, so it will come on in the evening Eastern time. We invite back all of the speakers, as many as they can. So they come on, you guys can get all your questions answered. You can have a good time. You can bring a cocktail or a drink if you want, optional. So we have that live element as well, because I know a lot of people, they have a lot of questions. So that's the best time to get them answered. So make sure you guys get the free pass so you can join on the live recaps as well in the link below. So thank you so much, Lisa, for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed these tips, and if you want to learn more, check the link below to sign up for a 7-figure seller summit organized by Gary. And now I recommend you to watch the next video about Amazon, where we talk about A+ content and split testing with Sasha Gorelik.